Every morning, thousands of stories begin. Before the lessons, before the bell rings, before a student believes they can, they need someone who believes in them.
I wanted a profession where my experience makes a difference.
I wanted to create lasting opportunities for students.
I wanted to help students find their voice.
I wanted students to know someone believes in them.
Every role matters. Every moment counts. Every day is filled with possibilities. If you're ready to make a difference, more opportunities start here.
Hi, I'm Karen Perez, Chair of Hillsborough County School Board. I want to welcome you to Hillsborough County Public Schools, a donde servimos más de 200,000 de tus estudiantes. That includes children in preschool and adults through our workforce program.
I'm Nadia Combs, the school board's vice chair. Our district is the 7th largest in America, and our team is made up of 24,000 people working at close to 250 sites across the county.
Our district is diverse and dedicated. Our board meetings are held in our board auditorium on select Tuesdays at 4 p.m. The best way to serve our students and our community is to involve you, the public, in what we do.
You are welcome to meet or email any of our board members and follow our district on social media. School board meetings are covered live by Hillsborough Schools TV on Spectrum 635 and Frontier Channel 32.
Meetings are also streamed live on our website at hillsboroughschools.org. Closed captioning is provided on all broadcasts, and past meetings are available in our online archive.
We are interested in what the public has to say. We'll include time for audience comments before we address our business items. Our agenda and any supporting materials can be viewed online in advance. They are posted 7 days before each meeting on our website at hillsboroughschools.org.
Our vision is preparing students for life, and that means all students every day. Thank you for your commitment to education. With your help, we're making decisions that shape our community's future.
The board meeting of August 4th is called to order. Member Combs will now lead us in a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Chair Perez. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Now please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There is one withdrawn item. Item 3.1, purchase agreement between School Board of Hillsborough County and Committee for Children's for License Renewal of the Second Step Human Skills Program. I need a motion and a second to adopt the agenda. I have a motion by Member Combs and a second by Member Gray. Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. Please note, let the record reflect that all board members are present with the exception of Member Hahn. We have one set of minutes to be approved today, July 14th, 2026 school board meeting and July 28th, 2026 school board meeting. I need a motion and a second to approve the minutes. I have a motion by Member Gray and a second by Member Vaughn. Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. Board members, I would like to go over the format of today's meeting. As a reminder, we are a nonpartisan board who believe all children can be empowered to learn, to succeed, and our decisions will be made with that understanding. To pave the way for efficient agenda statements and questions, board members will have 5 minutes to speak with 30 seconds for final thoughts. Afterward, the superintendent can respond. If you have further questions, you are asked to get back in the queue. Now, Member Combs will now read the board guidelines.
Thank you, Chair Perez. As we begin this afternoon's meeting, please allow me to quickly review the format of today's school board meeting. Please silence all electronic devices. There are speakers in the room behind me that allow board members to hear the meeting upon stepping away from the dais. This meeting can be viewed with closed captioning on live webcast, on cable TV, on video monitors here in the auditorium. It can also be viewed with closed captioning in the online video archive.
We have one item for time certain, that's 6 p.m. employee input. Public comment. The board welcomes comments from citizens and values your input to the board. In order to provide the most comprehensive response to your comments, our staff will follow up with you and will keep our board informed about the responses. Our school board respects the public's right to speak to the board, and we appreciate you taking your time to be here. You have the right to speak about any issues you like. You will not be interrupted. However, any behavior intended to interrupt the orderly conduct of this meeting will not be allowed. We do request that you try to focus on the issues. When addressing the board, please state your name and speak clearly into the microphone. This afternoon, each speaker will have 3 minutes. Reminder that your 3 minutes start when you begin speaking. When there are 30 seconds left, you will see a yellow light on the lectern and hear a chime. The red light and the chime will indicate when your time is up. I will now call up the first 5 speakers. Yes.
Hello, my name is Ashley Morrow, and I love a good Black History lesson, so I am back with another one. This one is actually about school in District 4, Marshall Middle Magnet. So, as the story goes with Marshall Middle Magnet, it got its start in 1920, and it was started by a man by the name of E.J. Marshall, who built a 2-story brick building, and they eventually, I guess, expand the school, and it becomes Plant City Junior Negro High School and Plant City Negro Senior High School, which moves to a different location, and then eventually that gets changed to Marshall High School for Negroes before desegregation. So I did a little digging, because that's what I do when I love archives. And the location where it currently sits, Lincoln Elementary, is where Midway originally sat. I went and found the plat map from 1907 right here. This is the block. These are the 2 deeds for 2 of those lots, 5, 6, 7, and 8. It was actually purchased by the trustees of the Special Tax School District Number 6. That was built to be a Plant City High School for Agriculture. That matches, that lines up. However, the men that were the trustees of this Special Tax School District were all white. So I was very curious about that. Where did that come from? So, and there's no gotcha in this story. I'm still very much so researching. I just came from Plant City and drove back here because I was like, I need to share this with them. And then because they don't know either where this story came from. A few, and I'll leave these with you, a few articles. This article talks about the Plant City Special Tax School District Number 6. And then this one talks about how it initially was going to be called, it was going to be changed from Plant City Negro High School to Wheatley High School. That next month, the PTA, a group of Negro Plant City citizens, came up and said, no, we want it to be named E.J. Marshall because this story that I just told you. So I'm very curious as to where this story came from and how and why we keep pushing without doing deeper dives and doing the research. So I know y'all have a lot of stuff on your plate, but if you have a historian on staff or something that can help me, if you guys have old minutes so I can get the story as to why they thought that was the best name. And nothing, not bashing Marshall. I love Marshall. I'm just wondering who this man was and why they named this school after him in 1950. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good afternoon. My name is Jessica Eagle. I'm a student athlete and incoming sophomore at Wharton High School. I'm here to talk about the dress code, the new addition to the dress code regarding leggings. As a student athlete who has practiced before school begins, I have found that leggings are a practical item to wear. However, with the new rule stating that girls can only wear leggings if we have a top that goes to our mid-thigh, this is dangerous to student health, as the extreme temperatures in Florida, it can cause issues with exhaustion all the way to heat stroke. Hillsborough County recently became an A-grade district without the new dress code. Why add a new rule that is detrimental to our education as it shifts girls' focuses from what we're learning to worrying about what we're wearing? I urge you to remove this addition to the dress code. I, as a student who started and will finish their high school and middle school and elementary school career within the Hillsborough County public school system, I hope that this becomes a district that girls can wear what they want without fear of punishment. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
I like that. It's pretty hot.
Hello, my name is D'Angelo Jackson, and I'm here from Trust Academy. A little backstory about me: I'm from Michigan, and I was a foster kid since I was 14, and I became a business owner at 18, and I started seeing the shift in myself when I started being around other business owners compared to when I was being around other foster kids and other kids that was in the streets. So I started seeing my behavior change. I started seeing my demeanor change when I started being around other business owners. So fast forward to me being 45 now, I created a nonprofit that kind of copied that model that I learned. So what I want to do is be able to take kids in those secondary schools and stuff that don't have a career path and help them narrow it down their career path and give them the steps, the support, and the mentorship so they could get certified so they can start working right away. So then I'm going to be there every step of the way because I'm going to be introducing them to my business owners circle so they could get the training and everything. And the business owners that I partnered up with already agreed to hire these kids in right away after they get trained. So it's a smooth process because Trust Academy, they trust me, I trust them. I want the kids to trust me with their dreams so I can make sure that I give them the steps to make it come true. So I'm here to work out something with you guys because this is my first time doing it on this side of it, to see if there's anything that we could do for me to be able to get into those schools so I can start getting my hands on those kids, so I can start training those kids and getting those kids jobs. So that's what I'm here for. So hopefully this lands with someone. I have a business plan. I already have everything already structured out. I got a minute left, so I also want to work with the kids that's 18 and above, and then I also want to work with the kids that's under 18 that need direction. And I already applied for my school application and stuff in Polk County, and I passed the first stage yesterday. So they're going to be reviewing it, and I got my review thing. You guys know how it works in 2 weeks, like after that, so I could bring this to Polk County as well. So thank you for your ear.
Thank you. We will now move on to the consent agenda. I need a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. I have a motion by Member Vaughn and a second by Member Combs. The consent agenda has been approved. Oh, no. Seeing no further comments, please vote when your lights appear.
You know how I feel.
And the consent agenda has been approved. The following items will now be heard. D 2.1 and D 5.3. Item D 2.1, terminate the contract with Collaboratory Preparatory Academy. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Board members, Florida Statute 1002.33 permits a charter governing board to voluntarily close the school and surrender their charter for termination. The Collaboratory Preparatory Academy voted voluntarily to surrender their charter on July 8, 2026, and notified staff, parents, and families on July 13, 2026. The charter office is actively executing closure procedures with the school. So that is item 2.1, and of course, Angela Weary Crooks, our Director of Charter, and of course, our Chief Marcos Murillo is here as well. If you have any additional questions with 2.1, the termination of the contract with Collaboratory Preparatory Academy.
Thank you, Superintendent Ayers. I need a motion and second to approve item D 2.1. I have a motion by Member Combs and a second by Member Gray. Member Gray and Member Combs, you pulled this item. Do you have any questions or comments? Member Gray?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is this is important because it means a little bit more than just this particular charter school item. Ms. Crooks, we look at a few of these charter schools, and if we go back to the 80s, and Metropolitan Ministries started, we used to do the charter schools for a specific need, Pepin for those ESE children. Then we have morphed into groups of charter schools, CSA, Charter School USA, other larger entities. Now, some of these groups are losing the students just like, unfortunately, Hillsborough County Public Schools are losing. So what I would like for you to share is the brass tacks and the actual reason why the school is closing. Secondly, share the process of us gaining our FTE back. And then we're going to go ahead and I'll make a remark on the trends unless you would like to share that. Thank you. Ms. Crooks, thank you.
Yes, so one of the questions you had was the reason for why the charter schools, this particular charter school is closing, or was your...
No, we have a few. I think we have 3 more.
Yeah, so this particular, the agenda item that was pulled today for the collaboratory, their reason was they felt like they had achieved their mission. So they initially had opened their charter school to provide opportunities for other students in the area to get a good education, and a lot of the schools in the surrounding area have really done extremely well. They're all at least C or higher, and so they feel like they have accomplished their mission and they're ready to close their charter. So they were coming up for actually a contract renewal. So in looking at that contract renewal and meeting with the board chair, they decided that rather than going through the contract renewal is a pretty rigorous process. So rather than going through all that, they went ahead and chose to terminate their charter school.
Well, thank you for that. And then the FTE, just for the information, how that is exchanged.
So for FTE purposes, one of the things that we started early on with the charter schools is because this charter school, along with some of the other ones, there's been a trend of low enrollment as well, right? So those are also factors that our charter schools have to consider. Is there enough funds to be able to manage or run a charter school? And so one of the things that we did was look in our office. We looked at schools that had low enrollment, and I asked them what their plan was for recruitment, what their plan was, for sustainability, and so to really consider, whether they were able to fiscally operate their charter school for the upcoming school year. And so they thought about that too. And so before we were issued any FTE funds for this upcoming school year, I paused all funds so that we didn't have that those funds coming back that we would have to pull back from the charter schools.
And that's really important in terms of revenue gained. The question or the larger issue, we see a trend of charter schools losing students like our public education schools, get it out there correctly eventually. And what happens is we have several larger conglomerates who are now looking at public education, they're gaining more and more, let's just say, a larger voice. So versus 2 or 3 organized charter school organizations, which are now also under threat, I do believe we're going to see a trend for larger, much larger corporate entities. And I'm very concerned when we have a larger footprint of corporate entities, and I'll just use those words. I concern myself, as other board members probably do too, is their how they are affecting our curriculum, the curriculum. Are they going to put forth their curriculum? So when we see these trends, and thank you, Ms. Crooks, when we have 4 schools, charter schools, and all for the right reasons, when they're starting to fold, we are now seeing, I do think, in the current coming year, larger entities, and I think that just bears remark, and I'm concerned.
Yeah, and I can see some of those trends too. Certainly with some of our smaller independent charter schools, there used to be, waiting list of, 300, plus students, and now they're down to, maybe 100, students on their waiting list. So they're definitely feeling the impact. Whereas, you have charter schools that are managed by larger corporate, businesses, right? And so they pool their money together, and so it's a different feel. It's very different the way they're organized, as opposed to more of some of our independent charter schools, which are the ones that we're seeing struggle a little bit more.
Well, thank you for that overview. Appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Combs?
Thank you, Member Perez. I am, I pulled 2.1, but it does include 2.2, 2.3, and 2.4. And so when I ask questions, and I'll probably get back in the queue because it is 4 items, 2.1 is the Collaboratory Prep Academy, 2.2 is Victory Charter School, 2.3 is another Victory Charter School, 6 through 8, and then finally Legacy Prep. So you're talking about 4 charter schools that are being notified just a couple months ahead of time that their students are being notified that the school is closing and that they have to find a new location. This afternoon, Hillsborough County is confronting something we've never experienced on this scale. 4 charter schools closing because enrollment and financial conditions could not sustain their operations. Florida has spent years promoting educational choice and expanding charter schools, but choice is not meaningful if a school can become financially unstable and families learn too late that it cannot remain open. Florida continues to rank at the bottom nationally with the per student funding. This is no longer a traditional public school funding issue. We're now seeing that inadequate funding, lack of oversight, enrollment competition, and insufficient state-level safeguards can also destabilize the very choice system the state continues to promote. So the district is the sponsor and has to carry out the legal responsibilities. But we did not design the charter school system, determine its funding level, or write the laws that restrict the local oversight. The legislator, the State Board of Education, created this framework. Today, I want to understand whether that framework protects these students, if it protects the employees, if it protects the families, and also if it protects the taxpayers, and whether it's merely just allowed to operate without being as sustainable. So I do have quite a few questions for you. Most of these 4s, and you can go through the 4 schools, was it a voluntary surrender? Was it a governing board decision? Or was it the termination of the contract?
So for all of the schools that are on our agenda today, they all voluntarily voted to surrender their charter school. So all of it was voluntary, all for differing reasons, but trending with low enrollment, of course, too. Their boards approved it, and their families were all notified, and they have all been in communication with the charter office throughout the process.
Okay, and so as we are overseeing and you're working closely with them, were you able, was the Florida Department of Education, were they first notified about the deteriorating financial condition of the schools? Like, this didn't just happen overnight, it was this happened. What did the Department of Education do to safeguard this or protect the taxpayer money?
So that's a great question. So when I initially took on this position, there were a couple of charter schools that were starting to struggle financially, so we reached out to the state to put them on financial action plans because the statute allows for that when you have a negative fund balance. And so we did reach out to the state, but we didn't hear back from the state as to whether or not they would approve their financial action plans that we had worked together to come up with. And so we decided that even though we hadn't heard back from the state, that we would go ahead and implement some of those things that we had talked about to try to get them financially on the right track, which worked, which was good. So I brought in Building Hope to talk about FTE funding and also the dangers of over projecting, populations and looking at those trends. And then also we started practicing last year that if they did over project by large amounts, I started recalculating those projections earlier rather than later. So in October, we started right sizing those FTE funds. So then they saw a decrease in that funding. So then they had to, make adjustments with their budgets, with their boards for the rest of the year, so that we were overpaying them and then trying the following year to try to recoup some of that money. So we made a lot of those different adjustments along the way, which is why I think we're not seeing such a large deficit in some of the charter schools that we do see now. I think you are going to see some negative fund balances, and that's because some of the charter schools, so for example, the Victory schools, they didn't take their management company, they decided not to take their management fees because they knew the charter school were struggling, so they didn't charge the charter school any management fees. And so, but then that went into a sort of a negative fund balance, and then they had to take out some loans to try to make ends meet. The collaboratory, which is the agenda item that was pulled today, I know that they had a lot of donors and they had a lot of support from other companies as well. And so they've done things like, as this transition has happened, they've given all their employees 3-month severance pay. So you'll see that as a part of that sort of negative fund balance. So you'll see some negative fund balances, but we won't really see all of the actuals until their final audit comes in, which is a statutory requirement. And we'll see that in the next few months as we start to wind things down.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see, since, the state does give all this funding initially, I'd love to see that guidance and all the way through, to hear that you haven't really heard much from them and the district is taking all that initiative, to me is worrisome, because if you're going to have that choice, then you need to support it all the way through instead of leaving these students. So we're talking about, when we're looking at PISO, we're giving parents a 1.5 year notice. When we're looking at Graham and all these districts, how much notice did these families have to know that their schools? I mean, the school saw it coming. So why didn't the school know? Why didn't the parents and the families be notified before the end of the school year?
Yeah, and that's a good question, and unfortunately I don't have the answer to that question, but I do know that once we were notified, Hillsborough County rose to the call. We were there on Friday when our district offices were closed. Dr. Althea Walker was amazing. She went out and talked to staff about opportunities to come work in the district. I work with Matt Romano and his team to offer choice to our families that were impacted through the choice, application deadline, and then work with them to get back into their traditional schools. And I know that also one of the board members, Babette Moreno, with the collaboratory, she was really helpful as well. She, because she has a very deep understanding of schools and background and their scores. So when we were looking at scores because the parents were very concerned about, going into a school that was, had a good grade. And so she was able to really help them understand, their scores and how they, their points and how they increased over time. And so we looked at a lot of different schools, through that choice application process, and my staff too helped us. Like we really sat with families and helped them, on the computer, fill out choice applications.
Yeah, and just a couple more comments. And with the fiscal, I definitely would like to, and I'll put the information in tomorrow, request a workshop once all the financial statements come in, because a lot of them, I can't see the full picture of the financial statements, but one that I'm looking at, Victory, in 2022, their fund balance was $94,000. In 2023, it was $81,000. In 2024, it's $324,000, and now we're negative $49,000. I really want to look down on those details and see, how did you go from $324,000 and then all of a sudden you have negative $50,000? We're accountable for every single penny. I want to be accountable because the taxpayers are paying for all of this, as well as you want to look at the building, the facilities, the desk, what's happening to all of these materials. These are all taxpayer dollars, with that. So I'm going to make one more comment. And as I said, these closures demonstrate that underfunding does not protect choice. It weakens every form of education. A choice that disappears because the school cannot meet payroll, pay its bills, or track the enrollment assumed in its budget is not dependable choice for families, regardless if you're a public school or a charter school. Our immediate responsibility is to protect the students, preserve their records, account for every taxpayer public dollar, and ensure orderly transition. Our broader responsibility is to demand a state accountability system that identifies unrealistic enrollment projections, lack of oversight, and deteriorating finances before families receive these late notices, not after the failure has come. Parents deserve and students deserve to be notified ahead of time and not 60 days, and I want to account for every taxpayer dollar.
Thank you, Member Combs. Member Rendon?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think it's interesting to make sure that everyone is well aware that we, charter schools, traditional public schools, we are paid the same FTE. When we have additional sales tax money, if we get in additional money, that is shared with all of our charter schools. Yet our charter schools do not all have the same requirements as we do. They're not bound by the same update of curriculum as we are. They're not bound by certain guidelines as far as retirement for their benefits. They're not required to do certain benefits as we are with our health insurance, with our other insurance. And so I want to make sure that we note as a public entity that we're not alone, and that our current revenue that we bring in is not sufficient to properly educate our students in the state of Florida. That we really need to identify the fact that the money that we receive as our income, although we try very hard to make sure that every dollar goes as close as we can to the student, we are mandated by many requirements through the state to put our monies in certain areas. And so we have even more guidelines that we're required to do with the same dollar amount. And yet here we are seeing examples of multiple other institutions utilizing the same dollars, unable to do the same exact business and unable to do it as well as we are. It's important to recognize we're doing more with less, and it's unfair to our students. It's unfair to our staff, and it's unfair to the future of Florida. And so we really want to make sure that, although I did not pull this item and I didn't pull the other four, it is an example of the fact that this shows that the overall per student allocation is not sufficient to properly educate students in Florida. Going from the most important element in our Florida budget to now being second, it's showing that priority. It's showing where that dollar is going to. So this shows a decline because in this particular board item, there is no decline in enrollment. Absolutely none. But there is a decline in the fund balance without the increase in requirements, where us as traditional public schools has increased in our number of requirements, and yet we're still required to maintain over a 3% fund balance. And on this board, we have over a 7% fund balance that we require. So we need to understand that in order for us to properly provide the right education for our students, we need to make sure that we prioritize the funding for our students across the state. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Rendon. Member Washington?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a question. out of those 4 schools, how many students it's compiled of?
Out of the 4, total 292 students we counted as of yesterday afternoon.
Okay, so what are we doing to try to get them back into the public sector? Are we working to get them back in there?
At the moment that we heard about the closing of the 4 schools, we started communicating with the charter office. Angela and her team actually started contacting parents. I contacted the student placement choice office. They were aware. We even contacted CASA, the company that helps us in recruiting around, and we were aggressive around communicating and understanding, not the aggressiveness of making them come to our schools, but also explaining the schools around their neighborhood, the magnet choice off period that actually was closing at that moment that Sunday. So we actually communicated with the parents actually all the options that they had, but we were really aggressive around these are our schools, and to the point that out of the 292 that actually are out of the 4 schools, we have 131 that actually are already back in our neighborhood schools, right?
Good, that's great. That's what I like to hear.
And we are still not done communicating with them about school starts next week. They still have the options. We'll start providing with the support of the board, with the words that you're saying. We are the #1 instructional, organization right now here in Hillsborough, and they need to understand that what we offer for our students, #1 instruction out there. So we're continuing to communicate and make sure that they come to our neighborhood schools.
That's a good job, Marcus, because I'm concerned we need to get those kids back in Hillsborough County Public Schools. And like some of my board members said, when we look at charter schools many times, they don't operate the same way we do. They really don't. They have different procedures than we do. So this is the opportunity now for us to get these kids back into the public school sector and let people know. And thank you. Continue to work on that for me. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Washington. Member Vaughn.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for answering the question around opening up choice and making sure parents know choice, because one of the biggest concerns for me when I hear about how quickly the schools is closing is that those families do miss out on the 3 windows of choice that other families get to choose from when it comes to Hillsborough County Public Schools. And I think the word choice here is part of the problem, is that it's being used. I really appreciate Member Combs' entire thoughts. She has been very, very clear that she is pro-choice and not against choice, but what she wants and what she's highlighted is the same accountability. And I think that all of us on this board, regardless of what party we're with or where we stand on other issues, what we have said in unison is that there should be the same accountability for all of the choices in our community that are taking public tax dollars as there is for our traditional public schools. So I appreciate all of my board members kind of putting words to that, using this to really put words to the fact that there isn't the same accountability. And it comes in layers. I mean, for homeschool parents, there's almost 0 accountabilities. And the level of accountability falls hardest on traditional public schools. And I think also what I'm seeing, and I'm sure my fellow board members are we're oversaturated with choices. I mean, I have families who come to speak to me and they're almost paralyzed with so many choices, Does this school have a smaller environment? Is this going to be better? Especially our ESE families who are desperately trying to find, the most inclusive, best place for them to land. And even when it comes to advertising test scores or talking about the facilities, there's not the same level of accountability and even finding public information as these families try to navigate these choices. So, I just kind of want to echo the fact, thank you for all of your hard work. It's frustrating when we were traditional public schools to feel like, we were losing funds to charter schools, and now charter schools can't even sustain because there's so many choices between private schools and homeschool options. And again, I think what's important is with that same accountability, what we're asking for is stability, right? Because what's happening when we have to close schools because we don't have enough students, or when charter schools have to close because they don't have enough funding, who that hurts our most is our students and our families that have absolutely no stability. So thank you for your effort on this. Thank you, my fellow board members, for using this to raise awareness. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. Member Baird. I was just going to make you a member. Superintendent.
Madam Chair, I just want to reiterate some of Ms. Member Vaughn's words there. I just want to thank Angela Riri Crooks, her entire team. You know, we get notification of 4 schools closing down. We didn't hear that much because that team is working, and I thank your entire team, Ms. Riri Crooks. And then Mr. Murillo, this is really a cross-divisional effort to gain those 132 that we're still working towards to bring more into our school district. You know, as our school district continues to elevate and becomes the primary option for our families, this is what happens. But it's them behind the scenes making all those calls, working with the choice team to get those, you know, personal one-on-one calls. I just want to take a moment and thank Angela, Mr. Murillo, your entire teams for your work in this and getting this done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ayers. I was looking at, I'm just a little stunned. I'm going to jump on Member Combs' bandwagon here. One of the schools had a fund balance of $823. And I'm going to say this, the student population at one of them was 100% economically disadvantaged, 93% minority. A lot of these schools do target the minority families because, you know, of course, you know, they struggle a lot, but we're in a bind when it comes to our underserved, underrepresented students. And I have noticed, Superintendent Ayers, that a lot of parents will trust these schools with their students because they're thinking, okay, there's a smaller classroom, they're going to really support my students. But I'm going to ask Superintendent Ayers that if we, the board, can be updated monthly as to how these schools are doing, in order to maintain us, you know, that all of a sudden we're not looking at 4 schools that are closing, but that we are up to date on the finances of these schools. As I remember, there was another school that closed at the beginning of this year, you know. But that would help us also. But I'm just shocked. You know, a fund balance of $823 is absolutely unacceptable. We're looking at a combined, I think it's a little bit more, $1,931,000, but I think it's a little bit more because I don't have all the schools in front of me. But let me ask this question. What happens to the land, the buildings, and all the equipment in these schools? Because that's also a monetary piece that we have. So please here, let us know as board members, where is all the equipment, the whiteboards, everything that goes into these classrooms?
That's a great question. And actually, it's not an $823 fund balance. It's in the parentheses, so that means it's a negative $823. So for that particular school.
Even worse.
But part of the reason why it's negative is because we had overpaid the referendum funds, and I asked them to submit us a check back for over $12,000 to repay those referendum funds. So that's probably what put them into the negative there. But they did repay those referendum funds. But as far as the property and everything goes, so what our team has done, and Hillsborough County teams have been amazing. Chad and Bree from IT have been really helpful. They have I've got property control, so Nadia and Charlene have been out with me. As far as logistics has been out with me, Brandon Curls or Tammy Curls and Brandon Courtney. They've all been very responsive and amazing. So part of the process is as soon as we find out that a school is closing, we're boots on the ground and we go out there and we start looking for all of the inventory that's taxpayer dollars. My team has a whole list of all of the inventory that's purchased, not just with Hillsborough County funds, but CSP grant with ESSER funds. I work with Dr. Schaefer to find out what was purchased with ESSER funds. And so we go back and we look at for all that equipment. And then once we get all of that equipment accounted for, then we look to see what can we repurpose in the schools, what can we recycle, and what can we then auction off to get some of that money back for taxpayers. So that's part of the process. It's a longer process, but that's just sort of a little bit of what we do when a charter school closes.
Fabulous, thank you. Because I was looking at that capital outlay, and that was, yeah, I just wanted to make sure. But so if we can do that, Superintendent Ayers, I really appreciate it. Because, you know, right now, how we focus here, the 7 of us, is to maintain our students first and foremost when it comes to their education. And, you know, thank you for working to bring them back to brick and mortar here in Hillsborough County Schools and to maintain them in a stable space.
And we'll continue to do that. Again, we're not done and try to get them into our schools, but charter office and Ms. Weary Crooks, all the work I cannot imagine how she got into those schools really quick to check the property. But also on top of that, the monitoring piece is done from the July 1st. Now she already knows, so what you're asking, it's something that is really possible of doing because it's part of the conversations where we are. How do we monitor? How do we implement different practices? Of course, we try to support them so they can improve their own practices. But when we see that things are not moving in a positive direction, we have those conversations so that monthly or however the board wishes, we will provide that information for those specific schools that we see that are not improving throughout the process.
Thank you. Member Gray?
You know, I really want to thank the board members for really pointing out the reality. See, we're at a crossroads. Right now, Hillsborough County Public Schools is an A district. And now we're seeing the difference. And by the way, we have full transparency, we have full oversight, we have full accountability systems. We're an A district. And now we're seeing those schools, well, 4 of them today, that have very little of any of those ingredients. So when I say a crossroads, I think now the public is hearing us, and again, thank you to each board member, that there is a tremendous disconnect with those charters out there versus what we have to offer. So I just wanted to reemphasize that because we have a hell of a good opportunity that we're giving our students each and every day with effective teachers. So that I just wanted to just renew that type of talk. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Gray. Seeing no further questions or comments, please vote when your lights appear. Okay. And it passes unanimously. Next item. I think many have been waiting for this with bated breath. Item 5.3, an addendum to 26-27 Student Code of Conduct. Dr. Rick Grace, Chief of Schools, will highlight this item.
Thank you, Chair Perez. At the July 14th school board meeting, the school board approved the Student Code of Conduct for the 26-27 school year. During the July 28th school board meeting, questions were raised regarding the dress code provisions related to leggings and other form-fitting attire. As part of that discussion, the board requested that this item be placed on a future agenda for further discussion and consideration. Today's agenda item provides an opportunity for the board to discuss the current dress code language around leggings, share perspectives, and consider whether any amendments to the Student Code of Conduct are needed. Just to share the process that was followed regarding updates to the dress code, in April, a group of high school juniors and seniors, along with middle school students, participated in a student focus group. Students reviewed the 25-26 school year's dress code language. They made recommendations regarding language as well as clothing that should be allowed and prohibited. Those recommendations were then shared with the Student Code of Conduct Committee, which included principals, assistant principals, district staff, parents, and community members. Revisions that reached a consensus were incorporated into the proposed 26-27 dress code, while language without a consensus remained unchanged. Thank you.
I need a motion and a second to approve item D 5.3. I have a motion by Member Gray and a second by Member Washington.
Yeah, Madam Chair, just to be clear, Ms. Vaughn at the last board meeting made a motion to revert to the former dress code that was in effect last year. And so the item before you is based on the motion that was approved by the board. It strikes the language and removes the language that was added. So the effect of passing this would be to revert to the dress code that was in effect during the last school year.
Member Rendon, Member Vaughn pulled this item. Do you have any questions or comments? Member Vaughn.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, first of all, I did not expect for leggings to be such a point of conversation throughout the district. Some of the memes that I saw coming off the internet, I will never forget, first of all. But secondly, you know, thank you for your clarification, Mr. Porter, because Dr. Grays, it was a little confusing the way that you opened it, almost making it seem like we could workshop it today, which I don't think was the focus of this agenda item. You know, I think that one of the great things about being a school board member is that you get lots of community feedback. And while something might look good when you're kind of talking about it from a district level, once it's out into the public, you get to hear from schools, you get to hear from students, you get to hear from parents, and sometimes, unfortunately, they're at odds with each other. And it's hard to, you know, prioritize one set of voices over the other. I do appreciate the work that you did where you shared other school districts' dress code policies with us, because from what I could see, minus one small district that we talked about, the exact way this is worded, it would make us the most restrictive around us as well as other counties our size. And I don't think that should be a focus of Hillsborough County. Now, through so much discourse about this, I do think that there are points that we can change in the dress code to address some of the issues or reiterate things that are already there, like no, you know, midriff showing, and making sure that those are clear, that I think were the original intention of this policy. And I do appreciate the student work on it, and I know how disappointing it is because many students work with me on the restroom policy I tried to bring forward at the last workshop that did not pass. So I appreciate their hard work, but I think that Member Gray had a really good idea about including this in a workshop to talk about it going forward. I don't think we should have waited to take back the changes before the workshop, but I do think next time we have a policy workshop, having a conversation about this where board members can give feedback to say, you know, maybe something to cover the buttocks, or making sure that they're not opaque, or, you know, making sure that undergarments aren't showing. I think that this policy was trying to address some of the issues that we could be more specific about, but what it really ended up sounding like and how the public took it is that if females want to wear leggings, the only way they can do so is by wearing an oversized garment to hide their body that goes down to mid-thigh. And I don't think that was necessarily the intention. So I appreciate that my fellow board members gave us that opportunity. What I'm hopeful for is at the next policy workshop cycle, we can fit this in, whether it comes forward as a policy or not. We set aside some time. We talk about it as a board. We address some issues, and we give you some clear guidance going into next year, as well as when the committees come together and work, they have some direction from the board per our conversation. So that's why I'm going to support this tonight. Doesn't mean that I don't think that there's room to grow and change with it as we move forward. I also think, and I know other board members are going to talk about it, that it's a huge lift already on our administrators. You know, again, I know that there's some dress code that I see not being enforced when we go to schools right now. And that's a lot to be asking, you know, our teachers and our administrators to take away cell phones, make sure everybody's wearing helmets, enforce dress code with all their other responsibilities. So I do think it needs to be a thoughtful discussion that comes from the board, because as much work as the committee does, and I appreciate them, guess who gets the emails or the conversations in the grocery store? It's the board members up here. So we have to make sure that we're representing the public who elected us. So I appreciate that. Thank you for the clarity, Mr. Porter, and I look forward to hearing what my other board members have to say.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. Member Gray?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Member Vaughn. I did put together the workshop. I think the holistic look at the dress code, not only stemming from this particular issue, but for other issues that students also form their committee and teachers have the committee. There's a lot of input that for us board members, we need to listen and we need to hear, we need to discuss, and then effectively add to the policy that is existing, which is a pretty benign policy. I mean, it's only 2 paragraphs, so I'm sure board members will have some input and will want input into the particular policy language. I also agree with going back to where it was, and I think Attorney Porter, can you go ahead and restate, so make sure it's crystal clear that when we vote, we're voting to keep it the way Leggins was articulated in the first place.
So the motion on the floor and what you're being asked to approve tonight is that the dress code language would revert to the dress code that was in effect for the prior school year. It would remove the language that would require the coverings that were described by Member Vaughn and staff earlier. So if you vote yes on this, that means the dress code that was in effect last year will also be in effect for this school year.
Okay, so there'll be less drama and all the other TV opportunities if we get this done. I also will recommend board members if we could put the workshop down on the next policy cycle. Ms. Davis, if you're noting that, she's on it. Okay, that concludes my remarks, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Combs?
Thank you. I also agree that we need to really look back and really look at this uniform policy and kind of break it down and look at it overall. But I didn't receive any emails from parents. I mean, there's been so many challenges that we've had over the last few years. I've never received one email about leggings or anything like that. To suddenly have my mail like flooded with hundreds of emails and everyone talking to me everywhere about leggings, I was like, wow, So I think like you're creating an issue when there's not an issue there. Can we really look at uniforms? And the biggest thing I think is we create these policies, but we want to be consistent all the way across. I could go ahead and pass a policy, and maybe at one school it would be consistent, and maybe at another school it wouldn't be consistent. And as much as I support that you had a group of students, I can guarantee you I could find another group of students that would feel the exact opposite about leggings, including the couple girls back here, who came in to speak today at the public comment. I know that they supported the leggings. So I think if we're going to make a major change like that, then we really need to talk to the community, really need to talk to the principals, we really need to talk to administrators, because we have so many challenges. And that's one other thing, that we don't want to send a child home from school or make them not come to school. We have to come to terms with this, but we also need to make sure that we're consistent all the way across. I think overall, one of the hardest things about being such a large district is when you do pass a policy, you want that policy to be consistent throughout the district. When we passed the policy for the cell phones in the elementary and the middle school, it was consistent. I can walk into any middle school and I can see that everybody in the lunchroom doesn't have a cell phone in a middle school. If I walk into a middle school, I might see a girl with a tights. I might see, different uniforms. So if we're going to really look at this, we need to really start from the beginning. And that's why I am going to support Member Vaughn's also her motion to keep it as it was before, and then really look at that, give us time for a year. And one of the things that I did mention in the previous board is I need more time with the Student Code of Conduct. I do read every single page, but I need a few months to look at that. And if there are some really glaring challenges that the community is going to come up against, I need more information. I need to know about the groups. I really didn't know about the group. I had a community advocate call me today to tell me that they were involved. I had no idea. So I need more communication on what's happening with that, because it is very important. Because the one thing we want kids to come to school. And I don't want a child to not come to school because all they have is leggings. I mean, I know, I wear a suit often, but as soon as I get out of school, I'm wearing something comfortable. And that's what a lot of people wear nowadays. But we want kids to be dressed appropriately in school. We don't want it to be a distraction. We don't want the midriffs to be showing. We understand that. That's why, in elementary and middle school, the uniform schools, you never have to worry about it. But when you go at the high schools, let's be consistent about the uniforms. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Combs. Member Rendon?
Yeah, I'm going to have more issues than that. So at the end of the day, I don't think this is about girls. I think this is about spandex in general. And if we look at many of our schools and we look at different times of the year, there are boys that will show up with spandex shorts. There are boys that will come up with spandex pants. There are boys that will show up with tights. I've seen it. My children have been in schools. I also will tell you, leggings and spandex pants are not equitable. They are not all full coverage. They all are made with different materials. Some are more cotton, some are more nylon, some are more spandex, and they're not equitable in the fact that some you can see undergarments under, some you cannot. And unfortunately, by going back to absolutely having none, we don't change that, and we do require then our staff to policing private areas, and I don't want to get them into that. So when I spoke to Mr. Grays, I was not, when Member Vaughn made the motion to come back and discuss it, I had absolutely no problem seconding her and bringing it to a discussion. But when I got to my meeting about this agenda item, it was just told that it was going to be eliminated. And so I asked for there to be changes for us to vote on changes. And so going back to completely eliminating them, I'm getting different feedback from many families and many parents and many administrators and many other things, because it's not an equitable issue. It's not like all leggings or all spandex are equitable. Some of them have cinches in the middle, where when you put them on, you cinch your middle in the backside. So there are different types of spandex, different types of requirements. This is a boy and a girl issue. I do believe, like the young lady said, when you go to school and have practice in the mornings, absolutely, it's appropriate for you to wear athletic clothing when you're participating in athletics. My daughter would have morning practice as well, and then she'd have to change. After school, same thing. Same thing with the boys. They have cross country, or they have track, or they have basketball, or they have football. All of them is the same. So as it stands right now, with this being a complete removal of the proposed previous, I'm a no vote, because I feel there should have been an adjustment, not in a removal, because like I said, there's other things, there's other districts. Not all spandex are equitable in their material, in what they show, and they're not equitable in how they're worn. Many, we've got many people that will tuck in shirts that will go underneath their personal undergarment, and so it'll cover to a point, but then it doesn't cover. And so there definitely is room for improvement on this. I have no problem with making improvements, but I definitely feel that it shouldn't be eliminated, because there's a reason we put on it, because of the ask of the community, because of the ask from our administration. And so I'm going to be a no by completely eliminating it, but I do think there is room for change. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Rendon. Member Washington?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dress code is something that's continuous changing throughout the years. And I think I may have told Superintendent Van, it's weird, because when I was in high school many moons ago, girls only had to wear dresses. You couldn't wear pants. It was illegal to wear pants, so you had to wear dresses. Guys had to have shirts down to the elbow. So time changed, and then when I became a principal, it changed again. When I became a principal, that's when mini skirts came in and it was a pain. And I know principals and administrators understand how hard it is to man certain things in their school, because you don't have enough people to help you man them. If you've been a principal, you know how difficult it is. All the guys in the front row mainly been principals, and you know how hard it is to man, especially dress codes. Dress codes is the most, I don't know. If I had to eliminate everything in life, it'd be a dress code when I was a principal. Because I'm telling you, dress codes, phones, and profanity is hard. So I don't want to discredit the students who said, let's eliminate this. So I'm going towards having a workshop so we can look at it, because we always say we want students to be involved in the process. But then we don't want to have the process and then the students say something, then eliminate the students, because I think the process is very important. So I want to revert back to the dress code we had before until we have a workshop. So leggings, whatever they can wear them appropriate, and not non-appropriate, but appropriate, wearing it the right way. and I'm going to go back to the way we had it before, Mr. Graves, because I still think you did a great job, because you listened to the students, which is very important, because we always say we want to listen to students. But we should go back and have a workshop to see if we can solve the problem, okay? Because really, I will tight sometimes, because I don't wear them now because I'm old and I'm not shaped the same way. Because when you lift weights, you're in the gym, you wear your equipment. But anyway, we're going to do that. I think it's right to go and have a workshop. Okay. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Washington. Superintendent Harris.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I hear the will of the board. I just want to go back. So on that, the student code of conduct that Dr. Graves oversees, the board approved that on July 14th. That's a 129-page document. So there's lots of things within the student conduct. It's just not about spandex and leggings, a part of this whole document, right, that was approved. So I just want to go back to that. There's a lot within the student code of conduct. This has got a lot of attention. But board members, I hear you. We'll do a better job on our end, make sure that any language that is added, because I want to be clear, this language that around spandex and leggings was added for this year to the student code of conduct. So on our end, on our staff side, we'll make sure that we are more communicative around things that have been added that could cause some issues, because I heard a lot about it as well. So we'll do a better job on our end with this student code of conduct and ensuring that any language that's added, that we will communicate that better. So when you do approve that document, like I said, it's a large 129-page document, that any language that's added, that we'll make sure that we communicate that up front, and Dr. Graves and I have already had that discussion.
Thank you, Superintendent. Member Vaughn.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to reiterate that in the dress code policy that will remain unchanged is that clothing exposing the torso, midriff, front or back or side shall not be worn, and the underwear shall not be visible. That we've already had some things in our dress code to address some of the concerns that I've heard from parents or families or teachers who want that change. I think the biggest challenge for me was not really being clear in the example of an oversized shirt. And I also have seen how other schools have talked about, and I know, nobody wants to throw the word buttocks in a policy, but other school districts do have that in their dress code policy where it doesn't mandate it going down to mid-thigh. And again, so I think that, I just want to prepare everyone who's listening and feels very passionately about leggings that there probably will be some changes that come out of the policy workshop as we move forward for the next year. But as it stood with the completely banning them or asking for, women or men, ladies or men, to wear oversized shirts specifically down to mid-thigh seems arbitrarily restrictive. So I just want to be clear that going forward, whatever comes out of the workshop might still have some changes. And even though we're putting in a pause for this year and we're taking it out, we are making a commitment to keep working on it and going forward. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. I got to throw my mental health piece in here. So, when we talk about things like this, we have to also look at the piece of body shaming. Sometimes it's perception. Perception is everything. And, when we put policies in place like this, it might imply that certain body types or clothing combinations would lead to body shaming. And we're not in this district to put that in anybody's space and place. We're here, to really uplift our students. And I know that during this time in school, our young ladies and our young men are going through some difficult times in growing their bodies and things like that. So, it's something that we really need to navigate as well. But also, we talk about getting to class on time. And so if this is something like the young lady in the back talked about, when she's in athletes, they're trying to change, they're trying to get to class. Either we want them to change out of leggings or we want them to get to class on time. What are we negotiating here? Is this a distraction debate? Or, are we looking at making sure that we're not having distractions, but we're focusing on the fact that we're really lifting up our students today. We had a 93% graduation rate last year. And the leggings policy was in place already. We had no issues. And some may say that they're potential, but comprehension and leggings have nothing to do with each other. Our students are learning. We're a district right now. And so, but also one of the things that I had mentioned was cultural piece as well. There's a lot of cultures that their students wear leggings, and we have to be very sensitive to that aspect as well. So I go with, I think the majority of folks here, we're keeping it to go back to the way it was, because I think our students were doing amazing with the way it was. And seeing no further questions or comments, please vote when your lights appear. Oh, wait a minute. So we're voting. Can you clarify the vote?
So the motion on the floor is to have the dress code found in the Student Code of Conduct to revert to the language that was in effect for the last school year, which removes the restrictions surrounding leggings and the oversized shirts. So if you're in favor of reverting back to the old language, vote yes. If you're not in favor of that, vote no.
Okay. Please vote when your lights appear. And it passes with Member Rendon voting, dissenting on the vote. And now we will move into the superintendent's comments.
Yeah, we have. I think we have. Do we have employee input, Madam Chair? Yes, ma'am.
Employee input. Let me see. Okay.
3 speakers.
3 speakers. Oh. Okay. Okay. We will now take employee and student input. Even though we hear public comment at the beginning of the meeting, it's sometimes difficult for employees and students of our district to attend meetings at 4 p.m. There are many ways for employees and students to make their voices heard, including through union representatives, emails, phone calls, one-on-one conversations, and public comment at the beginning of the meeting. The board wants to hear from you. With this section of our agenda, we are creating another avenue for employees and students to speak to the board. We are setting aside 30 minutes for employees and of the district to speak to the board about any issues that are on your mind. It is not intended to be a discussion about specific agenda items on today's agenda, but rather an opportunity for you to speak to the board about any issues related to your job or the district. Each speaker will have 3 minutes, and I will call the first 3 speakers.
All right. Good evening, Chair, Board, Superintendent, Cabinet. Gosh, the news is all leaving. I was going to talk about leggings for 3 minutes. Maybe they'll stay. No, I'm kidding. So our staff is back preparing for a new school year. And during that time, we've got a whole range of emotions, excitement, anxiety. They're hopeful, nervous, right? But I think the one thing that all of our staff can agree upon is that there is just never enough time to prepare. And we know that state funding is not ideal this year. So over the last few months, we've presenting you with items that won't cost the district money, but give our teachers more time. Rob was here last week, giving him his Do You Know PSA. And one of those was like an hour pre-planning lunch. And wouldn't you know it, we're a couple days in, and we're getting some calls already. And here's the funny thing. So they're on the schedule, they're giving teachers an hour pre-lunch for pre-planning. Yay, that's a win. Unless the administration or somebody is providing lunch. Then they're taking back 15 or 30 minutes. And that's just kind of odd to me. I mean, is that an expectation that, like, if I give you a sandwich, you owe me 15 minutes, 30 minutes? I mean, that might work for a timeshare presentation. But my mama taught me that if somebody buys me a meal, I'm not obligated to do anything else. So the reason, we've talked to some of these administrators, and the reason that they give that they need this extra 15 or 30 minutes is because, oh my God, they need more meeting time. And, you know, I get it. I get the meetings are very well intended. However, when we have 30 minutes in a meeting for icebreakers on, you know, find someone who, give me 2 facts and a fib, or make an airplane because this is basic tier 1 interventions. I don't know. This is when, I'm highlighting this because this is when our teachers are feeling like, dude, my time is valuable. And I'm not saying that these things aren't important. I know they want to do culture building, but our teachers want to be in their classrooms preparing for those kiddos. They do. And honestly, that 1 hour pre-planning lunch, most of them are spending their time in their classroom preparing for the kiddos, not spending an hour eating a grand meal. So when we get back to the bargaining table on Friday, I'm really hoping that you guys are going to give the district the okay to approve some language that we've talked about that are items that won't cost the district money but will give our employees the more time that they need to meet the needs of our kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
My name is Jenny Buffington, and I am a speech-language pathologist, SLP, who is part of a highly trained and educated team of people who are dedicated to improving the lives of students in Hillsborough County public schools by helping them overcome communication barriers and empowering them to thrive academically and socially. I am nationally certified with my ASHA certification, American Speech, Language, and Hearing Association, and my Department of Health licensure. That is how I practice here in the district. I'm a specialist, okay? And in order to become a specialist, I have my master's degree, but not just any master's degree. Our master's degree requires 60+ hours. We also have to have 400 supervised hours and a 9-month clinical fellowship year before we can be officially, you know, nationally certified. Currently, both the $1,500 and the $750 stipends that have been offered to us for years in order to maintain these clinical certifications, they're taken off the table. Okay, they're not being considered in bargaining. We have a critical shortage of SLPs. Currently, the district has hired over 100. Now, there's 280 positions. Almost half are contract therapists. This district pays contract agencies over $100 an hour. We average $40 an hour, okay? So there's a problem there. You're throwing millions of dollars at some solution that would be more like $600,000 to keep qualified applicants here. So if I'm a new grad, I'm on my way out. I got about 2 years to go. If I'm a new graduate and I've got $50,000 in student loans, I'm going to go to Pasco. I'm going to go to Pinellas. I'm going to go where they are offering from $3,400 to $5,200 in their stipends. I mean, we are 46th in the state of Florida for pay for SLPs. Okay? It's a no-brainer. If I'm a new grad, I'm going to go to a different district. Contract therapists fill a purpose, okay? They keep us covering our kids on these IEPs, which are legal binding documents. However, we're committed SLPs. We connect with the families. We connect with the staff. We're dedicated. We're dedicated to our students. We're dedicated to our schools. We're not just here today, you know, next year we're at a different school. We're dedicated to Hillsborough County Public Schools and helping our students be communicators and just to be well-rounded. And so please consider continuing to help us recruit qualified, certified SLPs by offering the stipends. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Boutwell,
and this is my second year with Hillsborough County Schools. For many years, I was an SLP at Pinellas and made the drive every day because of their stipend that they offered. The only reason I left Pinellas was after the hurricanes. My traffic was never the same. My hour commute became an hour and 40-minute commute. Last year, when I changed over, I did see 2 home health kids after school to make up for some of the monetary loss. Currently, the ESE stipend of $1,500, the ASHA certification stipend of $1,500, and the $750 licensure stipend have been removed from the district's bargaining proposal. Why does this matter? Hillsborough ranks 46th in compensation in Florida. Pinellas County offers SLPs a $5,000 to $7,000 stipend. Pasco offers a $3,400 stipend, and Polk County offers a $5,200 stipend. Local SLPs leave Hillsborough for neighboring districts because of the higher pay. Hillsborough has difficulty recruiting because of the lower salaries. A lack of recruiting causes our district to hire SLP contractors. Last year, Hillsborough spent $8 to $10 million on contract services to cover vacancies. Doesn't it financially make more sense to pay out $600,000 plus annually for incentives than to pay $8 to $10 million on contractors? Last note, SLPs brought in $11 million from Medicaid billing last year. Why are you looking to cut supplemental funding to a group of people who bring in a significant amount of money annually? If the proposed budget moves forward and is approved, I will have to consider moving back to Pinellas. Seeing 2 to 3 kids per week after school doesn't equal the loss of the stipend from Pinellas, the stipend loss from Hillsborough, and increased time away from my family. SLPs are an important part of the school system. We help students develop communication skills, we support academics, social and emotional development, and independent functioning, along with now developing safe eating plans for kids with dysphagia. It is disheartening that our district doesn't see all the skills we bring to the academic setting and support us accordingly. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Maria Cristina Galdona, and I started my speech-language pathology career with Hillsborough County Schools 30 years ago this week, okay? I have worked in other settings, and I keep coming back here because I believe that every child should have access to the services that they need, regardless of the family's financial situation or insurance availability. I have been lucky that I am able to make that choice because we are a 2-income household and I could afford to take a pay cut to follow my passion. Sadly, that is not the reality today for many young SLPs and even older ones like myself who keep struggling with the changes in income and the job insecurity. Over the years, our district has lost countless talented, passionate, well-trained SLPs to surrounding counties and contract companies, as well as other settings, because of the promise of higher financial compensation. Our district has spent so many hours training and supporting new therapists, and it is the surrounding counties and contract companies and settings that benefit from this. My colleagues and I receive weekly and sometimes daily legitimate job offers through phone calls, texts, and emails, offering to make $20 to $25 more per hour than what I currently make, and I'm at the top of the pay scale. We are a critical shortage profession. You've heard my colleagues. There are currently over 100 vacancies being covered by contractors out of our 270 allotted positions. This is a 36% vacancy rate. Okay? Let's talk numbers and explore why. It takes a total of approximately 7 years to at least to become a fully licensed and certified SLP, and we cannot sign off or work independently unless we do all of this. This includes 4 years in a bachelor program, 2 to 3 years in a master's degree that requires at least 60 credit hours, and a required minimum of 9 months clinical fellowship and licensing supervision. So even if I choose, or one of my young people chooses not to do their C's, which is very recommended, the state of Florida requires this. Okay? And our programs are some of the most competitive. I am here today to ask you to please consider the including and maintenance of the supplements that are being recommended for removal. We are the lowest compensated.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good evening. My name is Katie Carey, and I'm a district speech-language pathologist entering my 6th year serving Hillsborough County students. I am here to ask you to preserve the supplements for district-employed SLPs because doing so is not only the right decision for students, it is also the fiscally responsible decision for our district. Speech-language pathologists are highly trained healthcare professionals. We complete more than 60 graduate credit hours, a 9-month clinical fellowship, state licensure, and national certification. In our schools, SLPs evaluate students, provide therapy, develop and manage IEPs, case manage students, collaborate with teachers and families, and complete Medicaid documentation. Last school year alone, SLPs helped generate more than $11 million in Medicaid reimbursement for Hillsborough County Public Schools. Despite this return on investment, the district is proposing to eliminate the very supplements that help recruit and retain qualified SLPs, reducing an SLP's annual take-home pay by $3,750. No other employee group is facing a pay cut of this magnitude. More than 96% of speech-language pathologists are women, making this a disproportionate reduction for one of the district's most highly educated female-dominated workforces. At a time of nationwide SLP shortages, reducing compensation will further increase turnover and vacancies. Each vacancy forces the district to rely on contract agencies that actively recruit district SLPs by offering significantly higher pay, often nearly double what the district offers hourly. Last year, HCPS spent over $10.5 million on contract SLP services to fill vacancies. Maintaining district SLP supplements would cost approximately $600,000. Investing in retention is a fraction of the cost of continually replacing permanent employees with expensive contract staffing. Neighboring districts recognize the value in investing in SLP retention. Pasco provides $3,400 for ASHA certification, Polk $5,200, Pinellas $5,280. Under the current proposal, Hillsborough would provide $0. Preserving these supplements is not an added expense, it is a cost-saving measure that reduces turnover and decreases contract spending. Every district-employed SLP retained provides greater continuity for students and a more efficient use of taxpayer dollars. I respectfully ask you to preserve these supplements and invest in the professionals who have already committed their careers to Hillsborough County Public Schools. Doing so protects taxpayer dollars, strengthens our schools, and ensures students receive the high-quality services they are entitled to. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we will move on to the superintendent's comments. Superintendent?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And so my superintendent's updates are just a few slides this evening. So number one, it's been this week I stopped by our local media stations to talk about the new school year. I've been all over highlighting the amazing academic achievements we have received recently and what we're looking forward to this year. It's a great opportunity to get out in front of our community, all of our news stations, and talk about all the great things that we're doing. And as you know, tomorrow is the big one more kickoff, our back to school press conference, 10:30 at Lamb. So I know most of you, I think all of you will be there at 10:30 tomorrow as for our back to school press conference that really kicks it off. We'll be able to once again highlight our achievements and be ready to talk about the new things for next school year. Also, I know board members, a lot of you are out today. This week, many of our community partners and organizations hosted our back-to-school events to welcome our teachers and staff for the new school year. I want to thank, special thanks to Valrico Fishhawk Chamber and to CABA, our Carewood Area Business Association, for today's events held at Bloomingdale and Gaither High Schools. There are several more this week. Brandon Riverview Chambers is tomorrow, and Plant City, of course, is on Friday, that Friday breakfast. And then we again, once again, thank all of our organizations for supporting our amazing teachers and staff. We talk about tradition in Hillsborough County, how our community comes together. I don't know any other districts that have this many welcome back new teacher breakfasts. Not only new teachers to our district, but all the new teachers to their schools as well. Today at Gaither, I had the opportunity to be over at Gaither. You know, hundreds of teachers that were there that were new to their school, had multiple opportunities, and Dr. Webley pointed out one. There's a new teacher over at Pierce who spent 16 years in Pasco County and now is new to, and Ms. Combs, I think you talked to him as well. 16 years in Pasco County, you know, and the reputation of Hillsborough County made the move over to us. So just a tribute to all the work that's been happening and our efforts to recruit and retain our teachers. So once again, special thanks to all of our organizations hosting our new teachers back. And then this came across yesterday. I don't know if you guys were on social media, but so this morning, before Gaither, I was like, I have to go by West Chase Elementary to see one of our teachers who's getting tons of love on social media. And Miss Belante was over at, I think that was over at ADEM yesterday for the Music Professional Study Day. And John King was celebrated by his fellow music teachers for reaching the 40-year mark during his professional study day. Our communications team, Ms. Belante, happened to be on hand to capture the Spirit Tunnel. This is the type of excitement we're seeing across our district. Our teachers and staff are back in the classrooms getting ready for our students to start on Monday. So I went by there this morning before I headed over to Gaither to see John. 40 years. He opened up West Chase Elementary when it opened up, I think in 1999. Before that was at I think he was at Waimama and Ruskin where he started his career, and then been at West Chase since he started. So 40 years, but I thought this was pretty neat. This is a music PSD day. All the music teachers were together, right? And they did a Spirit Tunnel. I think this was pretty neat. Just because the energy that goes along with HCPS and welcoming back everybody. So we play that video. I told him I was particularly excited by his moves were pretty good. Yeah, for sure did he outdo me. But he, you know, just talking to him today, just to see the passion he has for HCPS. And this is all of our music teachers, and special shout out to Tracy Lisi as well. This was her Music Professional Study Day. And I know my staff, I know board members, you were out across the district yesterday for Professional Study Day, where that's the one day where all of our content areas get together. And I know one thing. If you ever want rain, just schedule a professional study day, because every time we schedule PSD, it rains. It's amazing how that works. But so we fought through the rain. I know our teachers did as well on Monday to get through their professional study days. But we had a good day yesterday. And last slide is back to school. So I look forward to the first day of school on Monday, August 10th. We are starting bright and early to welcome back our students. We have a whole day schedule starting off at Stowers Elementary to begin the day, and those will be all of our, we'll be on the early morning news, doing interviews there at Stowers. We'll kick off our day at Stowers and then move across the school district. But it's coming up Monday, August 10th. Just welcome back to everybody. I love to see all the energy of all of our employees back with us. It gets kind of boring over the summer without having everybody here with us. So everybody's here. We get it back on Monday, August 10th to welcome all of our students back. So exciting Monday coming up, and those are my updates.
Thank you. We will move on to board member comments. Board members, just a reminder, you have 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
They're looking at me. Help! I'm going to be very swift.
Wait.
Whoop, not
Each
yet.
to speak with 30 seconds for final thoughts. Member Gray.
Aha. There we go. So, well, I also wanted to say big time thank you to Valrico Fishhawk Chamber of Commerce. What a lot of love, a lot of give to those wonderful teachers, and just it was a great morning. But the subject I wanted to cover tonight, and I don't know, Chad, if you have the video on, but we had the greatest show on earth. yesterday morning at Jefferson High School, and hundreds of coaches took part in the eclectic type of PE activities that really showed that not only are PE is changing, but there's so much student engagement with the PE coaches. Everything from aqua swimming activities, that's Tyler. Then we had we had pickleball simulations. Anyway, the list goes on, and it all had a lot of heart and head as far as the thoughtfulness on how to get kids to participate. But perhaps the biggest shout out I need to give is to our PE director, Ashley Capucci, who spent tireless hours putting this together at Jefferson. Every year she does it, but this was the best. And I also wanted to say to our coaches, you're just a fabulous group of individuals. You lead by example, and you are just going to make our students an incredibly physically and mentally fit population this year. Also, one more shout out to, and Superintendent Van Ayers, you know how effective this principal at Jefferson, Jennifer Kennedy, she just welcomed all these activities, continues to do so, and there's never a no in her vocabulary. So big thank you also to Principal Jennifer Kennedy. And last, and this is the conclusion of my remarks, and I wish all of our staff, students, parents, a wonderful school year. We have so much to look forward to. We are going to maintain and maybe even get even better our A status, and it's all because of what you do for our kids each and every day. So thank you, everyone, and that concludes my remarks, way under 5 minutes.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Vaughn.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, first of all, get ready for pictures you just saw, because if you can show my slideshow, please. I was gonna talk about the CABA event that Superintendent Ayers highlighted. Today we were at Gaither talking to all of the new teachers, whether they're new to the district or new to their schools, hearing their stories. It's always an amazing event. Thank you to the Carrollwood Area Business Association and Member Combs, who really worked hard this summer to make sure that event was pulled off without a hitch. It's got a DJ there. I would say it's the most fun breakfast out there. So I don't know if you guys need to get a DJ and step up your game, but the CABA breakfast is phenomenal. So thank you to them, to Gaither for hosting it, for all of the people who donated their time and energy. I just want to do a highlight because that's always such a great way to start the year. And that's my son's HEP teacher. So, you can take that off the screen. Thank you. I also wanted to let everybody know that as the school year is starting, I'm restarting up my District 3 Student Advisory Board. So for all the parents and families who said that they did not hear about it last year, I'm going to make sure that you know about it, that the application is available, because it seems like there are a lot of kids, a lot of our students who want to give feedback to our district about the decisions we're making for them. So I'm excited to restart that this year. To our SLPs who have come and spoke, thank you so much for the work that you've done. My son was in speech for several years in our traditional public schools, and I can't underscore how much that support meant to our family, and thank you so much for what you do. Also, I just want to say thank you to the district for our Focus Online forms. I had some anxiety about filling out those as a parent, but they were so easy to do. I was done in like 5 minutes. They were very clear where I needed to sign. It was a great experience, and my son's schedule was uploaded today on time as promised, very clear. So I really appreciate how we've automated things, and as a parent, it has really helped with some of the anxiety around that. I also just want to say, I meant to say this on the agenda item about the leggings, is parents, please help us with this, right? And just use some sense about, you know, when your children go out the door, to make sure that's how you want them presented in public. That's really, as a board, what we're asking, right? Is just to make sure that when you're sending your children out into the world, that's how you want them to be represented. And finally, I want to echo Member Gray's comments about, you know, this is our first meeting before a new school year. You know, thanks to Valerie, there's a lot of hope, there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of challenges. You know, I know we're going to continue to have more discussions as a group about ways that we can support our employees going forward, because I know we have more of those scheduled to talk about. And I just want to say thank you to everybody and really put a wish out there for a safe, supportive, successful school year, and that hopefully this is the best one yet. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. Member Washington?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Almost started July the 30th. We had at Dunbar, we had a 100-year anniversary. It was really good. Superintendent came, and we had a good time. And Lynn, we had really a great time. And I want to thank Principal Bryant for doing a great job for the 100-year anniversary. Moving on to July the 31st, the faculty visits. I went to James, where Mrs. Livingston, the faculty over at James is really high-spirited. We had a great time. They were ready for the school year to start. They were going over some academic information too. Also, Deputy McCray. So you got them going, and you may not be there, but they're working on it. They're going, and I enjoyed. We had a great time, and then we left there. We went to Kinley, where it was really excitement at Kinley, because the people, if you've been in long enough, you remember Kinley used to be one of academically really hard schools. We changed principals, look like every year at Kinley, and now we have Mr. Cooley there, and this is their second year making an A. They've really done a great job there. And that's a hidden treasure, because it's back up in there. You can't find it. You can't see it. It's hard to get to. But Mr. Cooley and them and their faculty really did a great job, and they continue excited. They're ready for the year to start to make that third A. They told me we're gonna make 3 A's, so I'm all go for that. And then on August 1st, I was at Milton Back to School Health Fair with Tina Young, did Project Link, and they had free physicals and shots for students, and they had over 200 kids, new people coming back into the system, new kids coming into the system. And it's going to help, because not only were they giving shots and physical, they were updating their records. So when they come to school the first day, they have all the shot records, and they'll be ready to go. Those kids were really excited, and the parents. So we got new students coming into the district, which is very good. And on August the 3rd, we had Bullitt had a foundation at Slide. We had a magnet celebration at Seminole Hard Rock. We had a great time over there. I think that's the 4. And as you can see, right, Angela has done a great job along with Mr. Bullitt, because they have really put that school back on go. That's the first time they made a B in 24 years. Very first time they made a B in 24 years. So everybody was excited. And the one on the far end of that, Renee Washington, she was one of my students when I was a PE teacher at Turkey Creek. So she was there. Angela was there. Chris, you did a great job. Shay, everybody, I mean, we had a great time there. Everybody was keyed up, and they were very happy to be successful. And I know they will continue being successful. So that's it for me. Oh, Monday, don't forget Monday, school, the buses will be rolling in. As we used to say, the yellow Greyhounds will be coming in. And we'll be there except the students. So we're hoping everybody be happy and be ready to go first day of school. Thank you very much. Oh, 1 minute though. I got it.
All right. Thank you, Member Washington. Member Rendon.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just have a couple thank yous, obviously, to Thaddeus Bullard and the Bullard Foundation for his great work with thousands and thousands of backpacks. And, well, this Saturday he'll have dental and he'll have haircuts and he'll have everything else. Also, I want to thank the Hillsborough County Fairgrounds, them alongside of ECHO out in eastern side of Hillsborough County. Not only do they have Hillsborough County Public Schools and many of the resources from our nutrition services, our bus drivers, our technical colleges, our adult schools, all of our migrant information, all of our ELL information, so many of our early learning coalition and things, the Rotary Club, the Lions Club. We had Bob Enriquez's team out there. We had many different public officials that were out there supporting, along with well over 100 different vendors from the community providing backpacks. They were doing, the health department was doing physicals, they were doing eye exams, everything just for our community. So I want to give them a shout out. Also want to say a shout out to the Fishhawk Valrico Chamber for their wonderful back to school lunch today for our new teachers in that Valrico Fishhawk area. Tomorrow the Brandon Riverview Chamber is putting on that. And again, like Superintendent says, the Plant City Chamber is honoring those teachers as well. Also want to give a quick shout out to Iris Thurman from Echo. This was her first big event as the new CEO of Echo in the Brandon area, and she did an amazing job on Saturday. That's a huge undertaking. Only taking on this responsibility in the last 60 days. It's huge. So thank you so very much. To our SLPs, we see you, and we recognize you are not just a speech and language pathologist. You make sure students eat. You make sure that they're healthy and they're safe. From an emotional standpoint with our students who have speech difficulties, which then lead to reading difficulties, that lead to their hindering of their educational piece, not only from a social, emotional piece. We get that. We understand that without your support, we are paying double in order to do that. And so I do hope that our negotiation team is recognizing that if we don't have those services in place, what will it cost the district, which will then take away from all of our employees. At the end of the day, I will never sit up here and say that anyone that touches a school is going to take priority in my book in this district. If you touch a student and you are in the school, as a board member, you are my priority. And I will always say that. And it doesn't just end with SLPs. It ends with our paras. It ends with our bus driver. It ends with our cafeteria staff, our custodial staff, our teachers, our aides. Every single member of our staff that are sitting in our schools that are providing direct support to our students, they have to take the priority. And I have no problem saying that from the day I took office to the day I end being in this office, they will always be our priorities. So thank you for stepping up. Thank you for coming out. And I do thank our negotiation team. I know they work very hard with all of our staff throughout the entire district. But we do see you and recognize it. It's not just speech. It's so much more than that. It hinders their learning. Like I said, it's a nutrition piece. It hinders, it's everything. It is the health and safety of our students. And so if they can't hear, they can't read. And if they can't sound a word out, what are we doing as an alternative? It's so much more. And again, that goes with our PT, our OT. It goes with so much more, our devices. And so we are bound by statute to make sure we have all these pieces in place. And so thank you so much. And to all of our staff, welcome back. We cannot thank you enough for what you do for our students. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Member Rendon. Member Combs?
Thank you, Chair Prez. And as I was sitting here, I highlighted SLP to add all of you. Thank you. I know it takes a lot of time and effort to come. You know, this is your last official week home, kind of. You should be organizing and stuff. You know what I mean, doing those last minute things you want to do for yourself. But thank you. And I know, my daughter had speech. She took speech. I think with COVID and everything happening, we're seeing such an influx. When you see the number of students who are being diagnosed with autism, the number of students with speech issues or nonverbal, how important that is. So we just understand, we do recognize, and we are going to, this board really supports you. Just a couple of things really exciting. Next week, kids come back to school. I remember not being able to sleep the night before. Our back to school fair. I have one little, one with, this year was the first time it was in Citrus Park Mall, which was amazing. And this is with Parenting Magazine. And, we had so much of the cabinet members there. We had Tampa Bay Tech, Progress Village. They had some amazing songs. Orange Grove, Blake High School performed. And then our Teacher of the Year, Christy Atkinson, which is so amazing. She sat there and delivered all these backpacks, and we were there forever. So it was just a really great day. And then you can take that down. And then, of course, the new Teacher of the Year, the new teacher brunch. Thank you to Dr. Klein and the whole Gaither High School team, the drum band, also the chorus. They were just amazing. And also the Brink Family Foundation, who continues to sponsor that every year. And thank you to Jessica Vaughn and also Kiana Roberts, our office assistant, who helped us. And just a couple more things. This past week, West Chase, which is such a great community, the West Chase Neighborhood News, the WOW, they decided to donate $5,000 to Paige Turner, our literacy bus. So they are very supportive every year when they do the race, their 5K race. They usually give $30,000 or $40,000 to a school in that area. And this year they had additional funding, so they wanted to give it to Paige Turner. So I was out there yesterday with a cash check. And thank you to all of our early learning, Tracy Brown, the whole early literacy, Emily Chimino, that whole team is just amazing in the things they do. Couple more things. September 19th is the Mid-August Moon Children's Festival, which is in Alonzo High School. You'll be hearing more and more about that. We have the Hispanic Heritage Festival, and then we have the Asian Moon Festival. And then lastly, and I will probably start bringing this up every single meeting, okay? Because as somebody who ran for office, when I'm out here, I think to myself, man, I'm not kidding. I worked 18 hours a day, 7 days a week for months. I lost like 20 pounds. I was so exhausted. I can't imagine having a superintendent who's trying to open a school and run for office 18 hours a day. We need to vote no for the elected superintendent. I'm going to say that over and over and over again. I am not looking for a real estate agent. I am not looking for somebody who's dealing with different contracts. I am looking for someone to run for a school. We need to stop this. 48 out of 50 states don't do this. Okay? Every large district in Florida does not do this. We have an A district with a great superintendent. We need to vote no. Do not take it for granted. Tell everyone, tell your neighbors, I am going to spearhead this, and I am going to work so hard to make sure that this stops. And if it does pass, every one of us is going to run for superintendent as well, okay? So be ready for it, okay? And so you know what you might have. You might not know what you're going to get. So remember that. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Combs. And I'm going to echo what my fellow board members said to our SLPs. Thank you for what you do for our babies. The fact that with your help, they're in our classrooms, they're getting your support, and they're getting an education. That's the biggest cheer for you. That you're there with them, and whether we need to really look at everything that's going on for you guys. Second, I got to say this. I've been to a few schools where the babies are getting enrolled, and I don't know who's more worried. Is it the parent or the child? Because the look on both their faces, you could tell who's newly enrolled and who's moving, and those babies look excited, but the parents look like, okay, and I've had the opportunity to speak to several parents, but especially, and I'm going to say this to the SLPs, especially the parents whose children have a different challenge than our students, and they're trusting in us here in Hillsborough County to guide their students. And I had the opportunity to meet a few of them yesterday at a couple of schools, and they're just excited to have their students in our hands. So that's why I say thank you for what you do. And with that, this meeting is adjourned.